In sewing and embroidery, a satin stitch damask stitch is a series of flat stitches that are used to completely cover a section of the background fabric. Narrow rows of satin stitch can be executed on a standard sewing machine using a zigzag stitch or a special satin stitch foot, in order to maintain a smooth edge. Shapes can be outlined with back, split or chain stitch before the entire shape including the outline is covered with satin stitch. Machine-made satin stitch is often used to outline and attach appliques to the ground fabric. Variants of the satin stitch include board stitch, a tightly spaced, decorative stitch typically used for monograms and decorative purposes. Brick stitch, in which alternate rows of satin stitches are offset by half the stitch length, worked in several related colors. Brick stitch allows stepped shading. Encroaching satin stitch, in which the top of each row of stitches is set between the bottom of the stitches on the previous row. Long and short stitch, used for fine shading. In the first row of satin stitches, every other stitch is half the length of its neighbors. Subsequent rows in related colors are all of the same length. Padded satin stitch, in which shapes are filled with rows of small running stitches which are then covered with satin stitch. Thread. Satin stitch is frequently made with embroidery thread, which has less twist than standard sewing thread. This gives a more uniform effect, with the individual threads' filaments merging. While good sewing threads produce acceptable satin stitch, low-quality threads usually do not sit straight and produce an uneven result. The color of each thread usually does not matter. Stitch gallery.